Oh, thank you, Lindy. Thank you, Lindy Sarame. They're setting the scene, and George already is shifting in his chair. He's going to have to answer. Lindy Sarame putting a curveball there. George, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me.
Congratulations on the launch of your new organization. Quickly tell us about the new organization. I'll come to what Lindy was raising there about what has changed, what is new, you know, because you saw the landscape. There's Busa, there's NAFCOC, there's even BBAC. I don't know where's BBAC these days, you know. And then there's Chamber of Commerce. It looks like there's a proliferation always. Now a new organization. What's new, George?
JJ, firstly, thank you for inviting me. And I think my colleagues from SAUBC are quite very happy to have this platform.
Wonderful, thank you.
And the platform is very simple. It's just to explain how we planning to change the narrative. JJ, I have been extremely very fortunate to serve in the leadership of BBC,
yes,
in the capacity of the chairman and in the capacity of the Secretary General. I have traveled the world with government in more than 30 countries. And I have led business in most of those countries. And sadly so, I have seen that the weakest platform we have as South Africans, particularly from the business forum point of view, is the level of participation of business in these forums. And secondly, when the president made the call to say, Tumamina principle, it really touched us. We were in Davos, my colleague and Silo Rasataba, the chairman of SAUBC, and we said we need to change the way the business is being structured in the country. Firstly, as you know, we have the extreme left and the extreme right. It cannot be correct that when we go to this platform, often it will be the same people that represent business who are representing large businesses. In your introduction, it was mentioned that those large businesses will be listed companies. What is the interest of a CEO of a listed company? It is only his pocket and the shareholders. What is the interest of a leader of an association? Is the members that he represents. And therefore for us, it's in the era that we live today where you have 10.1 million unemployed people. It cannot be correct that the status quo must remain. The status quo must change. And we said as SAUBC, the primary vision of SAUBC is to ensure that we position South Africa to become the best and the preferred investment destination in the world. We know what investment can do to the country. If you have enough investment, foreign direct investment, the more the money you can have, the more the jobs you can create, the more the people will be employed. 2, we then said, what should be our goal? Our goal is nothing else. The economy of this country today is under pressure. It's getting buried on a daily basis. And therefore, our goal is to improve to the sustained development of the economy of the country. Secondly, we want to improve the lives of our people. And how are we going to do that? As business, is we will bring all the committed associations, chambers, export council in one. They will bring their capacity, their experience, and all the track record they have in order to assist us to achieve that goal. And then we can play in the mainstream of the economy.
Why can't that be done under Busa?
As I said, the problem is one. As you know, based on the introduction, Busa has always been defined to be an organization that very highly represents the listed entities. That's not business in South Africa. Business is broad. There's many organizations, associations, and export councils that do not belong in Busa, or rather in BBC.
Was Busa resistant to expand its constituency in the name of business unit? In other words, in the name of trying to have one consolidated voice of business? Because what you are telling me is that you needed another platform that could better represent business.
Remember, this is a structural issue. If you take a CEO, for example, of one listed company that is supposed to attend an event in BRICS for investment purposes, which is very key. Remember, this is a South African program, which has got a lot of opportunities for investments. That CEO can tell you that I don't have a market in China, I don't have a market in Russia, I don't have a market in Brazil, and so on. And therefore, what is the role of the CEO of South African Wine Association? His role is to look for opportunities for members anywhere in the country. I remember myself raising an issue at the CEO initiative, which is represented mostly by the CEOs. And I said, it will be appropriate for the CEOs to begin to participate in the South African government programs. And trust me, one CEO stood up in that platform. He says, I'm not interested in BRICS. And trust me, he was correct. Because his company has got nothing to do with those 4 countries. But it's got something to do with somebody that lead an association. Because the more the markets we get, the better for the country. The more the opportunities we unlock, the more the trade agreements we sign. The more many businesses are created for the people left at home.
My question is then, what will be the usefulness of BUSA if it doesn't do that which you are describing now? Is it because is the only problem that it's narrowly representing listed companies?
Well, my point is, I can easily say it's a very good question for BUSA. Where we are sitting is we have, in the first 3 months of our roadshows, in meeting various influential organizations and selling them a vision and a story on how we can change the narrative in the country in terms of business role in supporting government initiatives. We were able to get a support of over 45 members. That tells you that our story is long overdue. And we are quite happy. Whether BUSA is structured correctly or incorrectly, it is for them to answer.
All right. I want to deal with that after the break, to say that from a point of view of impact, do you think that business, and you saw what Lindy was sketching there, is too fractured, right? Because all that you have described, one could ask the question, why is NAFCOC not doing that?
Okay, let me try and help you.
All right, you'll help me after the break, ne? All right, George Sebulela, helping us here on Business Tuesday to understand why on earth we need another business organization.